Aquarius, welcome to your October of 2015 Sidereal Horoscope. My name is Athen. This is, of course, for Sidereal Astrology. If you're new to this form of astrology, do check the description down below for more information. Your sign might be different, and you'll want to make sure you're watching the appropriate sign. So Aquarius, let's go ahead and have a look. Another very transformative month, as it has been, especially last month in September. Continuing with that in many ways. And a shift of energy for you, actually. Saturn is going to be going back into Scorpio once again and staying there for the next 2 years with both Scorpio and Ophiuchus. So a shift of energies, and you did get an inclination of what this was back at the tail end of last year and the beginning of this year when Saturn went into Scorpio but then went back out. And then now he's going back into Scorpio once again, which is your 10th house. So now responsibilities relating to your career, relating to work. And I think that's where a big focus and a lot of energy is going to be now. And this will depend on your personal charts where your ascendant actually is. But over the next coming months and coming years, you guys will be feeling that. But all of you should feel that shift into Scorpio, which is much more about the serious energy. You know, you guys have that serious energy to your career. At least it has to be deep. It has to be profound. It has to be real. It has to be something that is meaningful. And so now Saturn here is about applying that, putting it into that sector. And again, it's not just career. It's essentially anything that you're giving or contributing back to society, which can be for profit or otherwise. And that's going to be a great way for you to build those roots. And this is also, a culminating point too of anything that you have started regarding career, especially over the past 7 years when Saturn started going up towards the top of your chart, where at that point maybe you were, gaining some more recognition at work or with your career and things like that. Can be a culminating point. The biggest emphasis is that it's a time of taking it seriously, doing the right thing, when it comes to your exchanges, when it comes to work, and just doing the more grounded approach to it, which can then in turn over the next couple of years create a tremendous amount of structure and fruition and culmination in terms of what you get, what you build during these next couple of years. So major shifts there for you, and it was for Capricorn as well. So all of you Saturn ruled folks out there, and this is a big shift for you in terms of an important part of your house, or important part of your chart too, which is the 10th house, which is obviously, it's everything that we take from our roots and start to share it with the world. So this month is split up into two halves. We've got the transits are kind of coinciding the first half, and then the next set of transits are culminating in the second half. So I'm going to break up the reading in that fashion. There's a lot of transits. I'm not going to cover them all. For more detail, do check your weekly horoscopes for more information. But I'll cover the most important things, especially for you Aquarians. So there's that Saturn. Now Saturn in the first half of the month is going to be sextiling up to the North Node, who's been transiting your 8th house for the past couple of years. And you recently had Mercury in here, retrograde since last month, and the Sun here. So you're probably thinking and restructuring, the way that you connect things on a deeper level, whether it's the ebb and flows of life, the truth of life, understanding more about yourself on a deeper level, understanding what's really going on in the world. Things like this has been in this sort of reflective phase. Also, your self-expression has been sort of going through this restructuring these past few weeks as well. And so what's going to happen is that Saturn is sextiling that North Node. So you actually do have an opening here to get deeper, get vulnerable, get open, be open and see the ebb and flows of life, and to really just want to see and convey and communicate the truth. And so when this, when your ruler is in harmonious aspect, it can't come easy, but you have to take the effort and energy to make it into a reality. Now, it's all coming from this Mercury retrograde, who on the 9th, once he goes direct, is going to be conjoining up to that North Node. So there is an understanding about life path. There's a lot of things that you should start to understand too about your self-expression and the deeper aspects around this time period, which will then promote and further cultivate these ongoing life path energies, which have been regarding that truth in the 8th house for you. Now, your 7th house is still very much activated, and we had that solar eclipse last month in regards to the 7th house. So this is where the energies are going to continue. You can see here you still have Jupiter, Mars, and Venus still transiting that 7th, and even though we're going to have some new beginnings, a lot of things shaping up in the 8th, there's the big picture is the major life path changes, which have been in regards to your relationships, your one-on-one connections, your marriage. For some of you, it's usually quite transformative. Depends on your personal chart what else is going on, but these are the new beginnings, which will be culminating in about 6 months. And you should be quite motivated actually to connect to people, all kinds of, it's not just romantic, all kinds of relationships. You could be enjoying them quite a bit, and there could be a lot of opportunities coming in through people in general. So that's going to be a big emphasis. Now, from the 5th through the 8th, that Mars in the 7th house is going to be opposing up to that Neptune. Again, I've been saying this a lot because Neptune's been opposing up to this part of the chart, balancing self and other, right? There's all of this uncertainty about who you are, where you're going, what your goals are, etc., which is Neptune in the 1st house. And that's okay. And it's there to have the faith and trust in that you're, of course, so much more than any type of label or concept. And it's the more you can relax into that, the more it's going to be supporting those relationships for you this month. It's that balancing point. And Mars does naturally rule your career and your communication, so maybe uncertainty about that this early part of the month, but that's okay. Again, it's building that faith and trust for you, and which will then serendipitously, synchronistically, lead you into the places you're meant to be. So that's the 5th through the 8th, and the 6th through the 16th, Jupiter is going to be trining up to Pluto. So this energy here is all about, Pluto's been about deeper connections with your friends, and drawing the line and really stepping into your power when it comes to your either group sectors or groups that you're a part of, organizations that you're a part of. But all of that looks quite supportive this month, at least in terms of your relationships, because Pluto will be trining up to all of these planets here. Now, in terms of trining up to Jupiter, it's a very powerful energy. Anytime you have a slow mover and a slow mover in the transit chart, it's usually quite significant, at least in the general sense for everybody. So more opportunities, I think, to meet people, to have those one-on-one connections with new and existing relationships. Jupiter is also that group sector, so it could be with friends, and it could even be financial as well. Some positive changes there with Pluto trining up to Jupiter pretty much this first half of the month, 6th to the 16th. Then from the 10th and the 11th, Venus squares up to your ruler. So, patience here around this 10th to the 11th time period about your one-on-one connections. I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue because of this, all this energy already in the 7th. But do bring that extra attention there. Do bring extra attention too around things relating to home and family and things relating to travel. It's just suggesting that there is a concept here that is about making sure that you are crossing your T's, dotting your I's, taking care of all the business there that needs to be taken care of, maybe with your philosophy and things like that as well. Taking a step back and taking it slow could be very, very constructive for you around the 10th and the 11th. And this is nothing new too. This is actually the third aspect that this has happened with over the past few months. Now on the 12th, we've got the new moon in Virgo. So now we start to see those new beginnings relating to the deeper aspects of life. Again, this is also on a more mundane level. It's your deeper connections. It is relationships going on a deeper level. It's also your debts. It's also shared resources, inheritance, anything that is, of course, like the things that we don't possess but are important in our life. Okay, so it's that kind of energy, but it's all about the truth of the matter and going deep and being open and vulnerable with yourself and others. And that in and of itself is going to be creating those new beginnings. And it's more introverted time here around the 12th. And then as the month unfolds, you'll be feeling more of that energy moving forward for you in regards to these things. And if it is something tangible like inheritance or removing yourself from unhealthy bondages is another thing, or debts, this is a great month to continuously implement that, or to implement something new with that. So let's go and shift to the second half of the month. From the 14th to the 19th, we've got Mars trining up to that Pluto. So now things start to look even more supportive here with those relationships and with the group things and whatever it is that is group or organizationally connected for you. And the things relating to your career and your communication start to expand, maybe some opportunities there in that sector. It's always nice to have Mars going over Jupiter in those areas. It only happens once every 2.5 years. So some expansion there, I would say, at least optimism maybe with the big picture career stuff and how you're communicating in correspondence, which is very nice and very transformative, very powerful with the organizations and groups and those sorts of things. From the 16th to the 17th, Venus then opposes up to Neptune. So again, no, nothing new here. The same mantra about, patience and, having faith and trust with relationships and self. And maybe not having it all figured out. Venus also does rule your 4th and your 9th house, so maybe you don't have everything figured out in the home front or the family front or the travel front, and or with your philosophy if you're trying to figure it out too much. But for those of you who have more of a propensity to allow things to be as they are and to flow and to have that faith and trust, then it can be actually very profound, a very spiritual time for your home, for your family, and for your spirituality, and maybe even things like traveling and stuff like that, which can be very serendipitous for you. All right, so the 22nd to the 23rd, Mercury squares up to Pluto. Okay, so extra attention here, I would say, with your communications. Nothing new. This has actually already happened a few times the past couple months. So the later part of the month, I would say, just bring extra attention to your communications, to your self-expression, and the deeper aspects of life without going to any extremes there with that. And from the 24th to the 25th, Venus trines up to Pluto. So those things relating to home and family and travel start to become very supportive at the very end of the month, around the 25th. And then Venus goes over that Jupiter on the 25th. So lots of opportunities there, I would say, with home, family, travel, or adventure, or philosophy, spirituality. A lot of you might be learning new things spiritually. And it's all in the sphere of one-on-one connections, whether it's with your partner who's kind of like a guru for you right now at the moment, or you connect to sort of guru. I say that very loosely, of course. It's a mutual exchange, but there is people in your life that do provide a lot of wisdom for you right now, whether it's one person or multiple relationships that you have. So that could be nice. More information coming in there, more new relationships perhaps forming at the end of this month. And all of that could be quite enjoyable. Then the month ends on the 27th when we've got the full moon in Aries, which is all about a culminating point of your communications, your correspondence, and daily activities. So an awareness of the mind, an awareness of how you're communicating, and anything new that you started 6 months ago involving daily activities or learning, teaching, writing, sharing information can come to a culminating point, and this can be very good for all of this 8th house activity when you're sharing the truth, conveying it, and all in all, you can understand quite a bit about yourself and how you think, how you communicate, and implement these spiritual or just truths about life, whether it's about yourself or these major shifts in the world. So Aquarius, have a great one. If you guys have any questions, please do let me know. Thanks for watching. If you'd like a personal reading, click the link down on the bottom of the video, and I will see you all next time. Take care.